Brian Baldinger, host of the Best Football Show podcast. Insider Call is brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. What's up, Baldy?
Well, guys, how are you, man? I'm, like everybody else, looking forward to Week 7, putting Week 6 in the books here and looking to move ahead, man.
Did I see, now to put football aside for 1 second, did I see that you were at the Sphere in Las Vegas? Did I see that online?
Well, I did the Raiders game.
Oh, okay.
The Eagles were playing on Saturday night, but I was doing Texas OU on Saturday. I figured, Raiders on Sunday made a lot of sense to me, so it was a good double-double last week.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm as a music guy, very excited at some point get to the Sphere for a show.
Oh,
so.
You got to go. You got to go, Spike. It's awesome, man. I saw U2 at the Sphere during the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Man, it was something else.
Yeah, it looks amazing. A friend of mine went to, anyway, no more Sphere talk. Football talk. All right, Here we go. I'm getting the face from Jack. So, so the big word this week in Philadelphia has become predictability, right? So I saw a couple of your breakdowns about a few different Eagles plays. I think they're all third down pass plays. Yeah. How much of an issue? So we have mixed signals, right? We have a couple of players saying that it's an issue. We have people like you saying it's an issue. We talk to Jordan Mailata every week. He swears we're just not playing well. This is an execution issue. How big of an issue do you see it as?
Well, I mean, play design. I mean, it's always players over plays, but design is important too. I mean, you look at some of these offenses and the way they're clicking right now, and there's a lot of good design to it. The Eagles aren't, they're very good in the red zone. There's a lot of good play design there. They're the best in the league at designing red zone plays right now when they get down there. They're not down there enough right now. But it's an issue. It's definitely an issue. And, the way teams are playing the Eagles defensively, they're just sitting in these clouds right now. And they're just sitting on top of these zones, and they're keeping everything in front of them. And, if you kind of run the same type plays at them, it becomes a matchup zone where it becomes man at a certain distance. And they're just sitting on top of these routes. There's nothing that's making their eyes go in a different direction between pre-snap motions or anything. It's pretty simple. And so it's mirrored routes, same routes on one side as the other. And, you give a Giants defensive core a chance to sit down on these routes. A bad secondary like the Giants are, they're not going to get fooled by anything. And they didn't.
I guess it's hard for us, Baldy, on the outside, and I would imagine even for yourself, to know why the concepts don't have a little bit more complexity to them. I'm just wondering, is this an offense that's being suited and catered to Jalen and his skills, or what the offensive players do there? Or is this just what the Nick Sirianni / Kevin Patullo offense is going to be like, and we just have to perfect that?
That's a good question. I don't really have the answer to it. I was just doing, some research, because I always think, this offense, you have the best running back in football. Why would you run RPOs? Why would you do some of the things other teams do when you have the best back? Either give it to them or go play action off it, which they don't do a lot of. But I would say that if you have the best back in football, they got to get better at running the ball. Not just better at it, Ike. Mm-hmm. Last year, 26% of his runs went for a yard or less. All right? That's a quarter of his runs. But, he made up for it with all the big runs. This year, 40% of his runs, 95 runs so far, 40% of them are going for a yard or less. There's just too many negative runs or runs where aren't productive. And that is between him and the offensive line. And I think that is as big an issue as anything in the passing game right now. Okay. Because teams just aren't really – they don't have to do much. I mean, you watch Kayvon Thibodeau just squeeze on Mailata. You watch the backside cave in. They had 6 of their 12 runs. Didn't gain more than a yard last week against the Giants for Saquon. That's too high of a percentage.
Yeah, I saw another number that this is, in terms of getting hit before the line of scrimmage, this is Saquon's getting hit before the line of scrimmage at the second highest rate of his career.
Well, that's what I'm speaking of, Spike.
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
And for perspective for everyone listening, Saquon played behind some bad offensive lines in New York, Yeah.
It's supposed to be better here.
Yes, it's supposed to be better here. So how do you fix this? Such a weird thing to say, because there is the injury and there is one different player, but I guess we're all just trying to figure out from a team that went, even if Becton's not here.
Yeah, has the line declined?
Yeah, from such a high point last year to such a low point this year. I can't figure out how that happens.
Well, I mean, the left guard is new in their last week, and so that's a big decline from a healthy, Dickerson. So, Landon hasn't been healthy all year from the surgery and the preseason all the way through. So he's been in and out of the line. So they're not as good at moving the line of scrimmage. So if you're not good at really knocking guys off the ball, there's other ways to run the ball. I mean, you can angle block, you can pull, you can fold. There's other ways to get the job done. And so I feel like they've got to start experimenting with some different styles. The power game has not been anywhere near what it was a year ago when Malott and Dickerson were just caving in one side of the line and Mekhi Becton was pulling, or they'd run, some counter trays with Lane and the tight end. I mean, those plays are almost non-existent right now. So, I mean, I think they got to find some different ways to run the football, and there are. I mean, I don't see any. I mean, Malott and Lane Johnson run as well as any tackles in this league, and I don't see them out there running toss back and letting those guys get on the perimeter. And so I feel like they've got to change their approach a little bit here.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the offense. Defense did not look great on Thursday either. And it's sort of two things. It is from a cornerback issue. There's an issue at CB2, but they're also not getting to the quarterback. We've been talking about perhaps trading for an edge. Now that Nakobe Dean is back, do you think the team should give any thought to perhaps putting Dean in there and letting Jahad Campbell do a little more edge work, and maybe they're able to get some push there?
Well, I mean, he showed that at Alabama that he could come off the edge, at times. I think he's got a great takeoff. I think he could give him some pass rush. It's certainly a need right now. They're not getting to the quarterback. They're having a blitz to do it. But there could be a package for that, Spike, where Nakobe's back there with Vaughn and you let Campbell come off the edge with his speed and good first step. I think that's a possibility. But I don't know if that's a steady diet.
Yeah.
That's going to make a big difference. Now, they missed Nolan Smith a great deal. I don't know when he gets back, but, I mean, his speed and playmaking ability off the edge, was paramount. But, there's a lot of problems. I mean, Zadarius, walking away from the game right now doesn't help them. They don't have good edge rushes. They're probably going to have to make a move here, I would think. They're not taking the ball away. Like, they had 13 takeaways in 4 postseason games to win the Super Bowl. They're not taking it away right now. And obviously they have a real issue at corner, whether Quignon's in there or not in there right now.
I got two questions for you, Baldy. First, are you hearing anything through your travels and your connections about Zadarius' decision to retire other than I'm assuming, just doesn't want to play football anymore? In other words, we've been trying to figure out, why come back if you're going to retire in such a short time afterwards? Are you hearing anything?
No, it caught me off guard, to be honest with you. Like I remember I did the Rams-Eagles game a couple weeks ago, and I've known Zadarius a long time. He's a great guy. He's got a smile on his face every day, upbeat guy. And, I was just talking to somebody, he jumped on top of me and gave me a big hug, whatever. That's Zadarius. Like, it shocked me because it looked like, because he had other places to go, Ike. He told me this. He could have, but he was waiting for the right, and he thought the Eagles were the right place. It's been a while since he's been on a really competitive team. And so I thought this was and he had a great first game, when they brought him in and made a bunch of plays. And then he walks away from the game. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see, injuries being the cause or desire to play. Like, I never saw any of that from him. So I don't know. I don't know what's at stake there.
Now, we're hearing that Jalen Carter was out at practice today. I don't know how much he practiced or not, but he didn't play in the last game because of a heel injury. Hasn't really had a signature moment yet this year, Baldy. What are you seeing with Jalen that he hasn't necessarily been as impactful as we've seen in the past with him, as we've become accustomed to?
Well, don't sugarcoat it here. Like, don't sugarcoat it. I mean, he's been awful. I mean, I haven't seen anything.
Straight from the hip. Shoot it from the hip, then. Shoot it.
I mean, I'm just telling you, like he hasn't made one play. He hasn't shown any violence out there. He doesn't look like he's in great shape. He's a guy that had played last year. In a couple of games, he played every snap.
Every snap,
Every snap. Like, you don't see defensive tackle. I mean, you see Max Crosby doing the edge. You don't see tackles do that.
Yeah.
And he played every snap in some games last year. Whether he had to or not, he did.
Yep.
You don't see the conditioning. You don't see the violence. You don't see him splitting double teams. Like he hadn't done anything, in my mind, to, he was an ascending player. We thought he would be a dominant player. He doesn't look anything like that right now. So, I don't know what's going on there, but he's not been the same player. Now, I know the shoulder's been bothering him, the heel. He looks like he's a little chunky, so the defensive coordinators kind of called him out on that a little bit. So there's a lot of time to get going here, but he needs to get going soon because they need him to be really good, to be anywhere near a good defense.
Yep.
What are we looking at on Sunday with this Vikings team, Baldy? They're a team, honestly, that has been out of my vision. They seem like a mid-pack team. What do we have to worry about most, aside from, I guess, Justin Jefferson on Sunday against the Vikings?
Well, Carson's been in there the last 3 weeks, and he's played pretty good, to be honest with you. I think he's really taken the coaching. He's made a lot of big plays for him. And he's playing well. Now, maybe JJ is back in there. If he is, he is. But he doesn't scare me. But they've got an elite receiving corps because Jordan Addison is back to go with Justin Jefferson, to go with Jalen Naylor, to go with the tight end. Now, Aaron Jones has been out, but Jordan Mason has been just as good. And so they got a good running game. Defensively, now they led the league in takeaways a year ago. They're not anywhere near that right now this year. They've had some injuries. Andrew Van Ginkel, Blake Cashman, some of those guys have been out. But it's a defense led by Brian Flores that really started this whole blitz zero look where they're walking 6, 7, 8 guys up the line of scrimmage. And they're really going to challenge your protections and what you're going to do if they all come. And sometimes they back out. And they won't do it just on third down. They'll do it on first down. So they really challenge you. They haven't been as good this year against the run. They were great last year. But they haven't been quite as good this year, which is a little mystery because Javon Hargrave is in there. Jonathan Allen is in there. They thought they were going to get better up front. But teams have gashed them pretty good right now. So they're sort of a mixed bag, but they've got playmaking ability on both sides of the ball. I know that.
All right, Baldy. We appreciate you as always. We will talk to you next week, same place, same time. Thank you, Baldy.
All right, brother.
Yeah. You did, man.
There is Audacy NFL Insider Brian Baldinger, host of the Best Football Show podcast. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial need, Nationwide is on your side.